In this video, I'll show you a simple idea that can instantly make your chess more dangerous. I'm Grandmaster Igor Smirnov, and let me ask you, how would you play here as white? Now, black has just played queen to f6, an unusual move, but nevertheless. Most players would probably just develop their pieces one way or the other, bishop c4 being the most played move. However, it is actually not how strong players handle chess, because they ask themselves a different question. They ask themselves, how can I make a threat? And here, Morphy played knight to c3. And we'll use this game of Morphy to see clearly this golden rule of chess and exactly how you can apply it to maximize your results. The knight to c3 move creates that first threat, and that already made black nervous, and black played c6 just to cover that weakness. Now you see the power of white's previous move and why knight c3 was better than bishop c4. Now black is wasting time just to prevent this knight from jumping forward. And guess what Morphy played here? Again, most players, they would just develop, right? The classical rule of chess, develop pieces, castle, all that stuff. And it's all good, it's all right. But there is a next level to it. And the next level is, again, you keep making threats. And Morphy played d4, another move that creates the next threat. I call this strategy keep punching. You try to create problems for your opponent as often as you possibly can. Now, Morphy challenges this pawn in the middle of the board while also preparing his other pieces to be brought into the game. Now, black captured on d4. Again, black cannot play any move he wants to, right? He cannot develop because he has to address this very straightforward threat. Black captured here on d4, and once again, you can clearly see the difference between Morphy and the rest, right? What would other people do? They would definitely recapture. Probably would not even consider other options, right? They would just think whether to take with a knight or with a queen, or they would just capture with a knight and that's it. Now, knowing the rule, think about this for a second. How would you play here as white? Are there any aggressive moves that you can play? And Morphy played e5, attacking the queen, a good move. But frankly, I like even more the move bishop g5, the move that pursues the same purpose and at the same time also develops a bishop. Either way, both moves are nice, and you see that you have way more options than you think initially. Now, he played e5, also not bad, hitting the queen. Now, the queen went here to g6, and again, everybody would just recapture. But we know that Morphy was really brutal. He had a very rare chess problem. He was struggling to find a worthy opponent. He was just too good for his time. And instead of recapturing, he played bishop d3. He came up with one more move to keep creating threats. By the way, let me ask you another interesting question. What do you think about a move like knight to h4? Is that also an attacking move worth considering? There is also another quick note to be made here. Sometimes you're watching a game of, let's say, Tal or Morphy, you get inspired to play in that style, and then you go onto that chess app and you try it out yourself, but then it doesn't go exactly the way that it went for Tal and Morphy. As one of you guys wrote in comments to one of my previous videos, this is exactly the way I play, skillfully blended with spectacular blunders. Bonk. Now, having said that, there are two very important ideas to understand here to be sure you actually make it with this rule. And one of them is you want to attack while bringing new pieces into the attack. This is exactly what differentiates those great players from beginners. Because beginners, they run around with the same piece trying to create those one-move threats. And it most of the time fails. Like, think of Scholar's Mate as an example of that, right? White is running around with the same queen, just trying to create threats with this hope chess attitude, versus strong players know that they want to bring new pieces into play, those which are not yet developed, because you, generally speaking, want to just outnumber your opponent. That's the easiest way to dominate. Now let's count pieces that are currently active. White's got two knights, all right, 2. Black's got a queen, 1. We've got 2 versus 1, not bad. But after Morphy played bishop d3, now we've got 3 versus 1. That's already much better. Black played queen takes g2, hitting the rook, but luckily for Morphy, he's got rook to g1, counter threat. Now after queen retreats back to h3, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1. And basically, black is done. Now, of course, it still takes skill to convert it and not to blunder throughout the game, but generally speaking, you're already totally dominating the game. Now Morphy is asking himself the very same question, how can I create the next threat? He comes with rook g3, keep punching. Queen comes back, rook g5, and white keeps hunting. Poor queen. Instead of a light morning jog, she had to run a full marathon. Queen to h3. All right. Now, by the way, this knight on c3 is still handy. Let's not forget about that. And how would you play here as white? Quick side note, we're currently looking for a social media specialist to join our team. If you'd like to work with me, or if you know somebody who might be a good fit, you can find all the details in the description below the video. And if you refer someone who ends up joining the team, you'll also get a referral bonus for that. All right, back to the video. Morphy here played bishop to f1 to attack the queen that way. Frankly, I'm not entirely sure why not bishop f5 with the same idea. That looks even more aggressive to me. But whatever, bishop f1 is also not bad, still hitting the queen and somehow gaining one more tempo. All right, the queen retreated back to e6, and now finally Morphy was kind enough to finally recapture this pawn on d4. But even in this moment, he found the way to do that with a tempo while hitting the queen once again. Okay, the queen retreated back to e7. Now, black somehow never had a time to develop anything. Now, a quick question. What do you think about this move knight to f5? Is that a nice idea? Now, this is the second very, very important caveat. Knight f5 initially looks just terrific. You hit the queen, you hit all around, looks like you're about to win the game. But this is where we usually, start blundering. Before attacking, you gotta check your opponent's checks and captures. So here, knight f5 would actually be a blunder, because yes, it looks very good, but it blunders queen takes c5 check. And again, that is that super, super important caveat, because it's very easy to get focused on your own ideas. I keep punching, that's great, and start overlooking your opponent's counters. Now, you might have heard about that rule, checks, captures, and threats, right? In my experience, because I analyzed a lot of games of my students, I can tell you that most of the time it is actually a capture. Something like that, or something like that. In this case, queen takes g5 is not an option because of the bishop. But I mean, this is something that you guys typically overlook, right? Captures, 80% of the time. So out of checks, captures, and threats, I'd say you gotta be most careful with captures. And secondly, checks, all right? Threats is something that in the ideal world you should also take into account, but practically you can even not think about it all that much. All right, so knight f5 would not be a good option. And in light of that, Morphy played knight to e4, a much better move, consolidating the position and making a threat of knight goes to d6 check. But black counters with pawn to h6, probably trying to get rid of this rook, and if the rook goes back, black would be able to pick up this pawn on e5, which sounds nice, but now Morphy plays knight to f5. Following the ancient Sun Tzu quote, "It's never too late to ruin a good game." Here, knight f5 follows the motto, keep punching, but fails to follow the previous thing we talked about. You gotta consider checks and captures of your opponent. And here, after knight to f5, black's got queen takes e5, yes, but even more so, queen to b4. This hits both the king and the knight, and if white is trying to do something to save the knight, let's say just move it back to c3, then this rook on g5 is simply hanging, black can capture it, turning things around, and now black is the one winning the game, just with the upper rook and white's attack fail. But luckily for Morphy, the queen was so exhausted it could barely make one step forward, and now everything works out for Morphy. He goes knight to d6, he keeps attacking, this time he gets directly at attacking his opponent's king. King goes to d8, now white's rook on g5 is still hanging, but Morphy asks himself the same question, how can I make another threat, and he goes bishop c4. Again, remember, everyone knows that you gotta develop pieces in an opening, but strong players know that you want to develop pieces while attacking. That's the next level thinking. Now the queen is attacked, it goes back to e7, the rook is still hanging, but Morphy's got knight takes f7, this time forking his opponent's king and rook. The king somehow hides on c7, and it actually looks safe here. Maybe black was hoping for Morphy to just pick up the rook, but instead he found another brilliant attacking move, queen d6. Checking the king, and now this little pawn made a really beautiful career. Now it captures on d6, checking the king, while the knight still guards this square, pushing the king all the way forward. And now bishop e3, white keeps chasing the king. This rook on g5, still alive, also cuts off the fifth rank, and it almost makes it into a checkmating net, but c5 still, black is still in the game, bishop takes c5. Now there was a really interesting moment. If the king were to go to c6, which he didn't in the game, that will lead to knight to d8. A very spectacular mate, basically like quite an unusual configuration and really nice. The white rook is still hanging, by the way, but Morphy says don't judge a rook by its cover and reroutes it to the queen side with a checkmate. So remember these three ideas. First, keep punching. That's the core idea. Keep creating new threats. That instantly makes you way more dangerous. But there are two very important caveats. The first one, attack while bringing new pieces into the attack. Don't just develop pieces, develop and attack whenever you can. And the third, but also very important one, before every attacking move, check your opponent's checks and captures. To be sure, you're on a path to becoming a GM, not a BM. If you want to see how these ideas fit into one practical system, I've prepared a free masterclass. It breaks down the exact thinking process I use while playing, and the link is in the description. And if you want to master Morphy's favorite opening, check out this video.